Welcome back to Mental Mike's Recovery Radio, where recovery meets discovery. I am Mental Mike, and this is episode 9. If you are here at week 9, I need you to stop for just a moment and recognize what that means. You have done the foundational work. You have begun to shift how you see yourself. You have made amends. And now we are going after the thing that keeps so many people stuck, even after all of that. I call it the temporal prison, the time loop. This week's UFM material reveals that addiction is not just a physical or emotional pattern. It is a distortion of time itself. It traps you in one of two places, either chained to the past, replaying mistakes, drowning in shame, playing the if-only game on a loop, or locked in the future, paralyzed by anxiety, burning all your energy on a moment that has not even arrived yet. And neither of those places is where your power lives. Your power lives right here, in the present moment, in the now. This week, the Unified Flux Model gives us the science behind why our brains get locked into these loops, what addiction does physically to the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, and our memory, and how mindfulness is not just a concept, but a measurable tool for brain repair. We also go deep into self-forgiveness this week. Because the UFM is clear. Shame fuels relapse. And the person who made those choices in the depths of addiction is structurally and chemically not the same person sitting here today. And today, you are going to hear from Tyler. Tyler knows what it means to be caught in the loop, to spend years pulled backward by the past and pushed sideways by fear of the future, never fully landing in the only moment where change is actually possible. His story speaks directly to the heart of what the UFM lays out in week 9, because breaking out of the temporal prison requires exactly the kind of honesty, courage, and presence that Tyler had defined for himself. What he discovered is what this week's material promises. Every breath is a fresh start. So settle in, bring yourself fully here, and let's go deeper together.
Welcome to this week's discussion. If you're here with us in week 9, first of all, congratulations.
It's a huge milestone.
It really is. You've done the foundational work. You've started to shift how you see yourself, not as some fixed thing, but as, a dynamic field of energy.
Borrowed molecules on borrowed time, that's such a core concept from the UFM.
And it really sets the stage for this week. Last week in week 8, you took this massive intentional action with making amends.
Right, which is all about restoring harmony, releasing that unbelievable weight of guilt and shame. It's about aligning with the flow of life that the Unified Flux Model describes.
And now we get to the thing that keeps so many people stuck. It's what Mental Mike calls the temporal prison.
The time loop.
The time loop. And our mission this week is really nothing less than just tearing down the walls of that prison. It's about reclaiming the only moment that actually exists.
Which is right now.
Right now.
The whole problem, as Mike lays it out, is that the addictive pattern is a distortion of time. You get caught in one of two loops, and both of them. They just prevent you from accessing the power you have in the present.
Okay, so let's break those down.
Mm-hmm.
The first trap that's being anchored in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This is that constant replay of trauma, of mistakes, failures. It's the if-only game. If only I hadn't done that. It just leads to this paralyzing shame.
You're trying to move forward, but you're chained to yesterday. It's impossible.
Impossible. And the second trap is, it's the opposite, but just as damaging. The fixation on the future.
Right. Which can look like a couple of different things. It can be fantasizing, like, oh, once I'm better, everything will be perfect.
Which stops you from doing the work now.
Exactly.
Right.
Or, and this is more common, it's just drowning in anxiety about what might happen. What if I fail? What if I relapse?
And all that energy you need for today is just gone, wasted on a future that isn't even here.
So you have this core truth in the UFM. You literally cannot change the past, and you cannot control the future. The only place change can happen, the only place, is right here.
In the now. So to stay here, we have to understand why our brains are so good at dragging us away.
We have to look under the hood, and Mental Mike gives us a great map for that. He calls it the Trinity of perception.
The brain, body, and mind.
That's it. Let's start with the brain, the physical organ. Its number one job, above all else, is survival.
And it's selfish in a way, right? It will prioritize its own needs even if it, depletes the rest of the body to do it.
100%. Then you have the body, the vessel. It carries out the brain's orders, but it's also sending feedback up to the brain.
Pain, hunger, pleasure, all that data.
All that data. And then there's the mind. That's your conscious awareness. That's the you sitting in the control room, watching all the monitors from the brain and body.
And the mind's job is to interpret all that data and form a picture of reality.
Exactly. But here's the absolute tragedy of addiction. When you introduce substances, those signals get corrupted.
The monitors are broken.
The monitors are broken. The gauges are lying. The mind is trying to make good decisions based on completely faulty information.
So let's make that concrete. Talk about a craving. Why does my brain scream survival when I'm, perfectly safe on my couch?
Okay, so a craving hits. Your brain has been rewired. It sends out a signal that it codes as a survival need. It's a false alarm, but it feels incredibly real.
And the body responds.
Oh, yeah. The body responds. You start sweating, you get agitated, and your mind, watching these corrupted monitors go haywire, it interprets this as undeniable proof.
It thinks, this is an emergency I have to use to make this feeling stop.
I must use to survive this. That's the message.
So those choices made in active addiction, the ones that seem so insane later,
Yeah.
they weren't moral failures. They were logical responses to a broken internal system.
Absolutely. The mind was being lied to by its own hardware.
So how do we ever trust ourselves again if the data is bad?
Well, that's the beauty of this work. Every single time you do one of the exercises in the guide, you're using neuroplasticity. You are. You're literally performing self-directed brain repair.
You're building new circuits.
You're building new, honest pathways that bypass the old corrupted ones. The fog starts to lift because the signal is finally getting clear.
Okay, let's talk more about that rewiring.
Mm-hmm.
Because this temporal prison, it isn't just a bad habit. It's physical.
It's neurological. The UFM points to 4 key ways addiction physically alters the brain. The first is neurotransmitter interference.
So the substance provides that artificial reward, that borrowed energy.
Right, and the brain, which is very efficient, says, oh, I don't need to make my own feel-good chemicals anymore. It downregulates. That's tolerance.
And that makes the immediate future feel bleak without the substance.
It lowers your whole baseline. Second, and this is huge for the time loop, are the structural changes. Specifically, the weakening of the prefrontal cortex, the PFC.
The CEO of the brain, the part that handles planning, impulse control.
Self-awareness, long-term consequences, all the executive functions. And when the CEO is perpetually sick, your life is being run by short-term emotional thinking.
Get relief now. That's the only plan.
That's it. Third is the amygdala. That's your brain's threat detector, your smoke alarm.
And in addiction, it's stuck in the on position.
It's in overdrive. A tough conversation, a bill in the mail. It treats everything like a 5-alarm fire. It screams, escape the present moment now.
And the last one is memory compromise.
Yeah, the hippocampus, which handles memory, gets damaged. That's where you get the gaps, the blackouts, or those emotionally distorted memories Mike calls state-dependent memory.
So let's put it all together. The PFC can't plan for the future. The amygdala says the present is a threat. And the hippocampus makes the past unreliable.
You're trying to navigate life with broken equipment. Of course you're stuck. Of course you're in a loop.
And to cope with all that internal chaos, the mind develops a defense mechanism. The UFM uses a term for this, doublethink.
Doublethink. It's the ability to hold 2 completely contradictory beliefs at the same time and believe them both.
Like, I know this is destroying my life.
And I absolutely must have it right now.
How is it even possible to break free from that?
Yeah.
It sounds like a perfect self-protecting trap.
It's an incredibly powerful form of cognitive dissonance reduction. It lets you keep going while preserving this idea of yourself as a good person who's just suffering.
So breaking it requires what?
Radical honesty.
Yeah.
It means stopping the mental gymnastics and just seeing reality exactly as it is right now.
Which brings us to the solution. If the problem is the time loop, the solution has to be presence.
It has to be. And that's where the UFM introduces mindfulness, which is defined so simply. Paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, without judgment.
And this isn't just some vague concept. This is a tool for brain repair.
A measurable technique. The science is clear. Mindfulness practices physically strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the very part that addiction weakens.
So when you practice being present, you're literally giving your inner CEO a workout.
You're building your future self by being fully here now, And at the same time, it actually reduces the size and reactivity of the amygdala.
It calms down that broken fire alarm.
It does. It improves emotional regulation. And when you can finally sit in the present, you start to directly experience what the Unified Flux Model has been saying all along.
That everything is in flow.
Nothing is permanent, nothing is fixed, and therefore, nothing is hopeless. That feeling you have right now, it's temporary, it will pass.
That's a huge relief.
Yeah.
But there's still this massive emotional weight, self-forgiveness. The guide goes right at this.
And we have to be so clear, forgiveness is not forgetting. It's not excusing what happened.
It's just releasing the past's hold on the present.
Right. Mental Mike is adamant about this. Shame fuels relapse. Shame keeps you in that prison. Accountability, true accountability, motivates change.
I hear so many people say, but I don't deserve to be forgiven.
I know, but here's the radical truth from the UFM. The person who committed those acts literally doesn't exist anymore.
Because the molecules have changed, the neural pathways are different.
You are structurally and chemically a different person today than you were yesterday. Continuing to punish your current healing self for the crimes of a past corrupted self it's just self-sabotage.
It's wasting the energy you need for today.
Exactly. Forgiveness isn't a feeling, it's an action. It's choosing to invest in the person you are becoming.
And that ties right back to amends. Amends are that present moment action. You're taking action now to restore balance.
It's an outward declaration that you're operating with new, honest data today.
Okay, so let's get really practical. The study guide has exercises designed to build this muscle of presence. The first one is energetic inventory mapping.
And this isn't just making a list, it is a really honest look at your mental energy budget.
You literally map out how many hours a day you spend lost in the past, replaying things, regretting things.
Versus how much time you spend worrying about the future. And you see what's actually left over for today, for action.
It's usually a shocking number.
Almost always. Next is somatic emotional clearing. The idea that the body keeps the score.
Right. So this is about using movement shaking, sound dolenta, to literally shake off that stuck energy, those old stories that are held in your body.
You're bypassing the thinking mind. You're letting the emotion, which is just energy, move through you instead of getting stuck in you. It teaches the amygdala that discomfort isn't an emergency.
And the third one, meditation for future self. This is not just daydreaming.
No, it's an active neurological tool. You use visualization to embody the qualities of your healed future self, that confidence, that peace, right now in this moment.
So you're not waiting for someday. You are programming your brain and body to be that person today.
You're collapsing possibility into reality.
So when that panic starts, when you feel that pull into the past or the future, you need something immediate, an intervention.
That's the ritual grounding technique. This is your emergency brake.
Okay, walk us through it.
First, anchor the body. Feel your feet on the floor, the chair supporting you. Get physical. Then you use the affirmation to interrupt the thought loop. I am here, I am now, the past is gone.
The future has not arrived. This moment is enough.
And then immediately you use your senses, the 5-5-5 technique. 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear, 5 things you can physically feel.
Because your senses can only report on what's happening right now.
And they can't lie. They pull you out of that abstract illusion of past shame or future fear and into the undeniable reality of this moment.
As we start to wrap up, the core message here is just so powerful. You are not trapped. Your brain is literally healing. Your mind is getting sharper with this work.
And all of your power, every bit of it, is right here in the present moment. The power to choose who you are now.
Not who you were yesterday or who you're afraid you might be tomorrow.
Just now.
So we want to leave you with a question from this week's reflection prompt. Really sit with this. What are you avoiding by escaping into temporal thinking?
And what would it feel like? What would it actually feel like to bring your full awareness to what is really, truly present right now?
Because that capacity for presence, for honesty with yourself, that is the foundation for everything that comes next.
And that's where we're headed in week 10. Authentic connection and healthy relationships.
You have to be present with yourself before you can ever be truly present and authentic with someone else.
Otherwise, you just fall back into those old patterns. Codependence, people-pleasing, isolation. This work you're doing now is preparing you to build new, healthy ways of relating.
Based on the integrity you're building in this moment.
My name's Tyler. I'm 27 years old. I used to work construction full-time before I hurt my back a few years ago. At first, it was just pain pills after work. I told myself it was temporary. Everybody around me acted like it was normal anyway. Long days, hard work, messed up backs. You just deal with it. But somewhere along the line, it stopped being about pain. That's the part I didn't understand for a long time. I kept telling myself I had control over it because I still showed up to work most days. I still paid bills sometimes. I wasn't living under a bridge or anything, so I convinced myself I wasn't really addicted. But honestly, my whole life started shrinking. I stopped answering calls from people. I'd sit in my truck outside my apartment for an hour because I didn't even want to go inside. My girlfriend kept asking me what was wrong, and I couldn't explain it because I didn't know myself. Everything felt heavy all the time. And what messed me up the most was my own head. Constant replaying, every mistake, every lie, every stupid thing I said to people I cared about. Or I'd go the other direction and panic about the future. What if I can't stop? What if I already ruined my life? What if I end up alone? What if I relapse again? It was like my brain never shut off. Then I heard this podcast talking about addiction as a violation, and this idea of the time prison. That hit me hard, because that's exactly what it felt like. Either trapped in the past, beating myself up, or terrified about the future, never actually living right now. And when they started talking about how addiction rewires the brain, honestly, that was the first time something made sense to me. The cravings, the panic, the feeling like I had to use just to feel normal again. I always thought that meant I was weak. But hearing somebody explain that my brain had basically been stuck in survival mode, man, I don't know. Something clicked for me. Especially when they talked about the monitors being broken. That your brain starts sending false emergency signals and your body reacts like you're dying even when you're completely safe. That's exactly what it felt like sitting alone at night. Like something terrible was about to happen unless I used again. I've never really thought about myself as somebody who talks about emotions or healing or any of this stuff. Honestly, some of it still feels weird to me. But one thing I know is this. When I stop spinning in my head long enough to actually stay in the moment, things calm down. Not perfectly, not magically, but enough for me to breathe again. Enough to realize I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. Enough to believe maybe my brain can heal if I stop feeding the thing that's destroying me. I still have bad days. I still get cravings. I still get angry sometimes thinking about how much time I lost. But for the first time in a long time, I don't feel completely trapped anymore. And honestly, that's probably the most hope I've had in years.
If something in this conversation stood out to you, don't ignore that. That's usually where the work begins. Recovery isn't about trying harder. It's about understanding what's actually happening and learning how to respond differently over time. If you're ready to take the next step, you can find resources, guidance, and support at soulrecoveryhub.com. Take what you heard today, sit with it, and keep moving forward. Copyright 2026, Mental Mike, all rights reserved.